Hello and welcome to IQ session number 16, I think it is. Thank you guys so much for joining us, and we are very, very excited to handball this one to Mr. Popplestone. Dean Popplestone is the average man, but he's not very average at all. He's more than that. And he's going to talk to us tonight about how to improve the self-talk in the head. I like how he described it earlier today as not the nutty type, but the positive type. So without further ado, Mr. Popplestone, would you like to unmute yourself? I'm going to mute myself for once, and we'd love for you to take it away, good sir. Woo! Round of applause.
All right, successfully unmuted. Thanks, Jez. Yeah, tonight, it came about tonight because I think last time we talked about, last time we talked about escaping the rut. And one of the sections that we talked about was our mindset, our self-talk. And then Matty threw me a bit of a curveball when he asked me to maybe explain some of my tactics or strategies that I use to promote and keep going with my self-talk, and I had nothing. So I actually went away like a good little nerd. I went away and I researched and then worked out that I actually was doing the strategies, but just didn't know it and didn't know how to articulate it at all. So tonight I've actually put them down in three easy to follow steps that we can go with, and something that's easy enough to stick with as well. So our self-talk, and I love self-talk because it gives us so much power in a lot of areas of our life as well. So I'm a big believer of it, big fan of it. So our self-talk is what we say to ourselves, not only what stays in our heads, but what comes out, when we're going hard out in a run or when we're trying to egg ourselves on. It's what comes out of our mouths. Even when things are going bad, what comes out of our mouths at the time, that's our self-talk. So it can be good or it can be bad, and that has an influence on how we view life as well. So it's not only what we say, but as for all communication, it's how we say it as well, and the attitude behind it. So our self-talk, it shapes the way that we see ourselves. We can blame it on everything else. We can blame it on the rest of the world and our outside influences. Mum and dad never treated me nice, or they didn't give me an iPhone early enough in life and all that type of crap. But the reality is, it's how we view ourselves, and our self-talk is the influence to what we see. Our self-talk, hang on, low battery. Do you want to get me a charger? Sorry, low battery. Failed to plan. There you go. Well done. It influences, our self-talk actually influences our past, our present, and our future. Now, I would say I hear you say, how does it influence our past? But you're all muted, so I can't hear that anyway. So I'm going to tell you, it won't change our past. Our past is what it is, but it'll change our perspective of what we view our past as being. So we've all had crap happen to us. We've all had good stuff happen to us. It's how we view it, whether we have it as a burden or whether we have it as a lesson and a strength. So our view to the rest of the world, and this is all enhanced by the way that we view ourselves, our self-talk, will influence the way that we perceive our past. And we know that our past is the reason that we're here in our present. So in our present, what we do now will influence our future. So those little things that nobody sees, what goes on inside our head, will have a big influence on how our life turns out and how our life is going and how our life has actually gone. Now, it's our lens to the way that we see life. Positive self-talk, no-brainer. It's good for the mental stability, good for the mental well-being. I think everybody's pretty across that at the moment, but the other side of it is self-talk has massive benefits for our physical well-being. And just some of the benefits I've just quickly jotted down from today is we recover quickly. more quicker than if we're pessimistic. So our recovery rate is improved, say, from coughs and colds, everyday stuff. We recover better, okay? We have a stronger immune system. Some of the other things, we actually have a lower risk of heart disease as well, okay? We have a better social life because nobody wants to hang out with a sad sack. So we have a better social life. People want to hang around happy people, okay? And when we have a better social life, we get better acceptance, don't we? So it makes ourselves feel good as well. We cope better with stress, okay? When we're down on ourselves, everything seems big, everything seems dark, and we cope better with it if we have a positive self-talk as well. If we have a positive outlook, it helps us cope better with those stressful situations. And now this is in general, okay? There has been surveys done on this. I can't quote them at the moment, but there has been surveys done on this. In general, optimistic people actually are more successful than pessimistic people. So there you go. So there's some of the, thanks, Jez. There's some of the practical physical benefits of actually having a positive self-talk. Now, our body is actually geared for good news. Our body is set up for good news. That's the way it was made. And one of the elements that are in there is some of the chemicals that are released, some of our happy drugs, if you want to put it. Four that I'll bring to light straight away is you got your dopamine. Okay, that's our motivator. So that kicks in for our instant gratification, and that kicks in for our woo factor. Okay, so that's our motivator. That's what wants us to come back for more. So just here's a titillating fact for you, that where it's released is in the same part of the brain, which is in the, there you go, I'll just read it out so I get it right. The ventral striatum is in the prefrontal cortex of our brain. Now that part of the brain also has something to do when mummies and daddies are having a really, really good time and they cross the finish line. All right, it's the same part. So this is how serious the body takes it. All right, it's not just going, mate, here's a little cup of sugar. Oh no, he's going for the real, real big stuff. So this is how serious the body takes good news. Yes, yes, I can see how much you're laughing that it's good news. All right, the second one, oxytocin. Okay, the first one's our motivator. The second one is the love drug. I know we're running with a theme. It's the love drug, all right? This is actually released on physical touch. So as small as shaking a hand, a hug, anything like that, a physical touch, the body will release oxytocin. Now, the good thing about oxytocin as well, this is how well it works, is it actually has an element in it that has resistance to the addictiveness of dopamine. Because if all we have was dopamine, we'd be addicts. That's what the gamers know this. When they make their games, they know this. And that's why they try and put all these little hit points in where the gamers just keep going back for that instant gratification, that instant hit. So oxytocin is our next one. So the body's going, mate, I want you to have the good stuff, but I want you to have it for a long time. Okay, and this is part of our social being as well. That's why it gets released, because we like that social interaction. Now, serotonin is our trophy getter. That's the one that gets injected, gets released into our bodies when we cross the finish line. When we have that big race, you know, when you get the adrenaline rush, when we cross the finish line, you're feeling all teary and emotional, there it is. Because it wants you to enjoy the moment, wants you to embrace that moment. So the body's promoting all these, and then you got, of course, what all gym junkies, fitness freaks know is the endorphins. Okay, they're our natural Panadol. They're the ones that want us to move on. They're the ones that'll come into play when we start feeling pain from our physical activities. So when we're starting to feel pain from when we're running through exhaustion, this is when the body overrides our mind. When the mind's telling us to stop, the body pumps out the endorphins and says, you know what, we're going further than this. So Don't be a lazy bum. Let's go. I'll take care of the pain. You take care of the race. So our bodies are actually geared for good news. Our bodies have got the ammo there to actually get us through for this good news. We're just got to start tapping into it. And part of that is our self-talk. So part of that is the way that we view the world. Now, the opposite will happen if we actually just sad and we see the pessimistic side and the crappy side of everything that we do. Because what will happen is we'll age quicker. Our immune system goes down, our bodies break down, we don't live well. And you can see it, or you can see people's skin break out when they're stressed out. They have all sorts of ailments and stuff like that. So the body needs good news, and that's why it's put this ammo into us to be able to do it. Okay, I could go on for ages for this stuff. It's just an endless supply of information on what our bodies can do and what's in there to actually help us live that fruitful life. But as I said, tonight was some strategies and some techniques that I've used, not knowing that I used, but I definitely use them, that can help us promote a happy, well-being life with good self-talk. Good talk that's going to actually promote what we want to live, that we can actually strive towards our goals instead of them just being dreams. So the first one that I got is our fuel. Okay, number one is what goes in. What are we putting in? Okay, and what I'm talking about the fuel is what do we listen to? What do we watch? What do we read? Okay, I'll put listen to as the number one thing on the list because the main thing that we listen to is music. And music is a real emotional medium. Okay, it'll get you sooking up during Frozen and all those type of movies. Okay, you go to church and they'll play the music so you can feel the mood. The Storm, the Tigers all run out to their songs. And the reason they do this is because they know it's an emotional trigger. Okay, we all have our favourite songs. Okay, we all have those moments how we listen to the radio. Oh, I love this song. But it's what goes in. Now, the important thing about it is if what we're listening to promotes joy, happiness, victory, feelings of overcoming, feelings of that you're worth it, you're onto the right stuff. Okay, a little disclaimer though, in this next section, the making of this next section, some feelings may get hurt. Okay, so I'll put it quite bluntly. If you're listening to stuff that promotes anger, the sadness that you've been shortchanged or ripped off or something like that, if you keep getting those feelings out of your music, you're listening to the wrong crap. And that's exactly what it is. You're listening to the E10 of music. It's no good. It's crappy fuel. And it's not going to be any good for you. All right? If you want the good stuff, you need to know what it's going to do for you. You need stuff that's going to promote sunshine. Okay? Not the stuff that's going to make you feel like crap, going to make you feel like punching somebody in the head. That's not going to help you at all. All right? Good fuel. Number one, good fuel. And the same goes for what we watch. Same goes for what we watch. Okay? If you're going to watch or read on our Facebooks, all the crap that's there, you need to actually start sifting through it. You need to start being generous to yourself. You need to start giving yourself stuff that you think would be all right for your kids to read. All right? If you think there's no way in hell I'd let my kids listen to that, switch the bloody thing off. Okay? It's no good. So number one is our fuel. You want the high octane stuff, the stuff that's going to make you go faster for longer. All right? Not the E10. Okay? E10's for the tight asses, for the cheapskates. All right? And they end up paying more for it. And they get less out of their engine. You know that, James, don't you? Yeah. Number two. Okay? It's who we hang with. Who we hang with. Now, last time I spoke, I know it's one of the part of the sections I spoke on was deliberate decisions. not just letting life choose for us. Make deliberate decisions. Now, this is really important that we make the decisions on who we hang out with, because it has a big outcome on how our life turns out. Now, we all have that friend, whether you want to admit it or not, and don't have to speak it out, but we all have that friend that when they ask us to come around for dinner, you find every excuse under the sun why you don't want to go there. So you want to ask yourself, are they givers or are they takers? So once you go around for dinner and you've had your dinner and you come out of there, do you feel like you've just been sucked dry? Do you feel like that everything has just been bled out of you? They're the ones you get rid of, okay? Ditch them, give them the ass, no more. You can do it nicely, however it works for you, but to be honest, you need to do it, okay? Feelings are going to get hurt, but you've got a whole lifetime to sort out. Okay, so feelings are going to get hurt when you have to make these hard decisions, and they are hard. We've had to make them ourselves, and they were hard, and it was from a lifetime friend as well. But once we've done it, and we knew it because we hated going around there for tea. We hated what we felt like afterwards, and you know what? And we weren't doing them any good either. This is a side note, is when we keep promoting it, we're not doing them any good. When we keep encouraging it, we're not doing them any good. We're enabling them to stay where they are too. We're enabling them to keep a life of just negativity and sadness. We're enabling it. So make a stand, not only for yourselves, but for them. Now, we know when I'm dealing with suppliers at work, the biggest way that you send a message is with your feet. If they're not up to scratch, you send that message and you go elsewhere. Look for people that are going to be worthwhile. Look for people that are going to promote you. Look for people that are going to be your cheerleaders. But most important, look for people that you want to cheerlead, that you want to give something without getting anything in return. Okay? These are the people that you want in your life. These are the people that we want to be around us. Now, Shez and Maddie, kitchen bitch, I will blow a little bit of smoke up your ass. You guys do this really well. Yes, there it is. Toot, toot. You do it really, really well. Okay? You are the king and queen of promoting people, of bringing the best out of people, bringing the helping them see what is worthwhile. You know, whether you've known them for 2 seconds or 20 years, you do it so well. And it's there, Chaz. I know. Oh, it's beautiful. But it's true. These are the people that you want in your life, and that's why FBFMs does so well. Okay? Look for the people that are going to promote. Look for the people that are going to cheerlead you. And it's the same when I did the marathon, the people that were on the sidelines cheerleading. And it made a massive difference of how I viewed that day. Massive difference. And it's gone down as one of my memorable moments in my life. So get the cheerleaders there. Make a deliberate decision. Get rid of the other ones. Give them the ass. Right? That's it. You can't put it any other way. You need to get rid of them. All right. Number 3. We are cruising. Number 3. So we've got what goes in. Very important. Who we hang out with. Very important. Number 3. Like anything, these are no use if we don't use them. Okay. Start to practice. Number 3. Every day, start to practice something small. Okay. Look in the mirror, love my hair, I'm looking a bit younger, looking a bit thinner, whatever. I'm going to do a great job today. I love the way that I actually sounded in that promo today. It's been a great day. Give yourself an accolade. Give yourself something that's going to boost you up. Okay? At first, it may feel strange. At first, that's why we do little bits at a time. Repetition is what's going to make the difference. Okay, persistence is what's going to make the difference. So it's not going to be a quick sprint. It is a marathon effort, this one. So it's like anything. When we learn something new, we need to be persistent with it. Same way when we talked about walking last time. We're all pretty good at walking. but we're persistent with it. So we stuck with it. And it's the same with this. You've got to stick with it a little bit at a time, and then you'll get a bit more, you'll get a bit more, you'll get a bit more. And next thing you know, it's just habit of what we do. Now, to help yourself along, bless somebody else with your words. Bless somebody else with your actions. Okay? Even if it's just a friendly good morning, even if it's just I love what you've done with that, or if you've done something with your hair. All right? Bless somebody else with your words so it becomes habit to you. I think it was, I can't remember who told me, but what I was told once was, if you really want to learn it and if you really want to get to know it inside and out, teach somebody else, share it with somebody else, and then you'll get to know it. That's the live it, love it, share it. All right. So once we start living it, we start to love it, and then we can share it more often. But if we start blessing others with what's coming out of our mouths, it'll just expand. All right. Actually, I've got two stories. I'll do the corny one first. Okay. When I was running the garbage trucks down in Mornington, and don't worry, the boys took the piss out of me this for years and years, but it worked. So the contract that I went into was running really bad, had a lot of issues. I won't go into the full story, but so when we took over to try and tidy this up, we used to do a toolbox meeting in the mornings over the two ways as the guys were heading out to their runs. And the last thing that was said on the two-way to all the drivers was, remember to smile, because it's nothing to give them away, but worth $1 million to somebody else. As corny as that was, I forgot to say it, and this was years down the track, I forgot to say it once, and straight away it came straight back to me. And they remembered it, and it actually was one of the tools that actually reshaped that contract to be the number one contract in the department. Now, it was the positive talk that went out, but the positive talk has to start here. So it wasn't equipment, it wasn't money, it was actually what got sewn in. Now, as corny as that sounds, it actually works, and I reckon some of those guys will still be saying it now, still be remembering it now when somebody mentions a smile. So these are the things that need to come out of your mouth. A proud dad moment here, when Hannah was heaps younger, when she was a little tacker, she was the queen of positive talk. She was the queen of dishing it out. So we were in a shop one day, we were buying something. I have no idea what we're buying, to be honest. Tan could probably tell you what it was, but we're buying something girly anyway, so interest was pretty low. But as we're paying for it, the lady over the counter, she was all right. She did a good job. But Hannah straight away said to her, "Ooh, I love your hair." And you should have seen her face light up. It was beaming. Now, this came from a little kid, and she was beaming. I reckon that would have made her day. So, at a wild guess, I reckon she would have gone home and told somebody, "Guess what happened to me today?" So that's how simple it is. That's how simple it is. All right? Tell people good morning. Tell people hello, because then it concrete in here. It sets. All right? So then we can start telling ourselves. So the three things that we've got going, okay? Fueling, who we hang with, and practice. Practice on yourself, practice on others. Okay? I've got to do a quote, Shez. Okay? It goes like this, from Henry Ford. I know I'm a Holden man, but from Henry Ford, here we go. If you say you can, or if you say you can't, either of them are right. So it's our view that we have. Okay? We are creating our new view on the world. So it starts here. That's what I've got, Cheers. Thanks for having me.
Oh, Dino, he does it again. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Good, sir. Oh,
Cheers,
there's the wife. She's a bit proud.
Yeah, sweet.
I love that it's in 3 easy points, which is really cool. And I love how you reminded us all that it's not just about the internal stuff, but it's also about blessing others too, because that'll help with the internal stuff too. And it's kind of like cancer; it grows, and But you can either have the good stuff grow or the shitty stuff grow. And that's a really cool thing. It's so simple as complimenting someone else to forcing you to see the good in a situation, I guess, is really what it comes down to, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like this, Shares. You know what? A turtle will attract flies, and a flower will attract bees, who gives us honey.
Yeah.
So, and flies only give us decay.
And they're annoying as shit.
Oh, they are.
Does anyone have any questions? You can either type or unmute or raise a hand. Don't all talk at once, though. Calm down.
I guess, Shares, it's one of those things that a lot of it we already know.
Yeah.
But we kind of just forget it in the mess of life.
Mm.
You know, and it's every now and then it's good to be reminded of how simple it can be just to change everything around.
Yeah, that's so true. What about, Dino, like in the moment kind of stuff? Have you got any tactics for in the moment? Like, I guess for maybe someone that might struggle with a bit of depression or something, and they're in that state of, I guess, anxiety, but like paying out on themselves, you know, whatever it is they say to themselves in their head that is definitely not positive. Have you got any strategies for them to kind of help snap out of that, like change their state?
Man, you're taking a leaf out of Matt's book, haven't you? You said. But one thing I actually I did hear that was really, really good was when we say that we're having a terrible day. You know, how's your day? Today was crap. And what they said was the whole day crap, or was it just one moment? Now, when we get into these states, look, I haven't really suffered full-on depression or anything like that. And you do lose a bit of sight. I know I have had a little bit of anxiety with some job stress and stuff like that a few years ago. And you do lose focus of all the good things. But if we can, not really being a doctor in this area, but for me, if you can find at least one thing that's positive, one thing that's actually good, and every day we've actually got a lot of good stuff, and we just have to find that one. You know, we might hate our job, but we might love the people that we work with, or we might not like most of them, but there is this good guy that we love hanging out with. You know, our car might be a piece of crap, but it's always been reliable. Who knows? So that side of it, I'm not 100% sure on the full-on depression side of it, Shares. But that little thing actually helps me quite a bit now when I start having a real crappy moment and it starts to taint my whole day. You know, I can see it tipping over with, oh man, this is terrible. Say, for instance, for me, I'll get in and I know I've got a massive day at work. And then I walk in, they say, Dino, you need to take a load down to Cows. Now, that's a great gig, but it's straight away 4.5 hours out of my day, which I needed. And the first thing I think of is, oh, really? Come on. Instead of thinking, you know what? Sweet. I get to kill 4.5 hours of my day and go for a good cruise. So it's trying to find that small element. And this is hard when you're in that sort of dark moment as well. Okay, where you actually just want to punch somebody or something. That's about the best I can come up with now. So now I'm going to have to go away and do more homework, Shares.
But it's great though. It's all about that practice, isn't it? It's all about just always trying to get better at it. Another one, I really love Tony Robbins' approach to all this stuff. I've been very fortunate to have grown up with listening to a lot of Robbins and been to his live events. And a part of it as well is state. So when we talk about state, it's your emotional state and your being and your presence. And if you ever get someone to act out being depressed, it's always slumped shoulders and it's, you know, it's down, it's drawn down. And then if you get someone to act out being happy and elated and winning, it's always up and uplifted and, you know, big and stuff. So another tool on top of that is to also change your state. And we do that through 10 seconds of happy puffy, like, you know, change that breathing up and, you know, which will help you lift your chest and open up. And so even just your actual posture, your state, your breathing can also help to help you get into that mode of the steps that Dino's talking about, and looking for those better things. But yeah, I think it comes down, I think you're 100% right that it is, if you've got better fuel going in, you got the practice of it, and the repetition, that's gonna move mountains for sure.
No, for sure. It's what goes in, goes out. Woo!
Yeah.
That's my favourite.
I have found, sort of, as I've tried to, I guess, stop the constant barrage of, not being able to think of myself well or think positive thoughts about myself. I've found recently that literally just asking myself a question: would I think that of someone else? Would I have that kind of grace for someone else? And the answer is always yes. Like, so when they're being, really down on themselves, I've got so much grace for someone else when they make a mistake, when they don't do something right. And then I'm actually trying to ask myself, why can't you give yourself that grace? Would you give it to someone else? So cut yourself a little bit of slack and just give yourself a little bit of grace back. And I find it sort of, sometimes it almost just stops it dead in the tracks, and have in some ways forgotten what I was actually trying to sabotage myself in those thoughts. So yeah, it's almost putting myself out in someone else's shoes, and I've got all the time in the world for them to, to have another opportunity to do it better, instead of just going, oh, why don't you ever do that right? Or why do you always do that? And why can't you make a change, and that sort of stuff? Whereas I'm like, to everyone else, you can make a change. You'll be able to get it. You'll be able to do it. Whereas, I think just literally asking yourself, can you give yourself the same sort of grace that you'd give someone else?
Well, it takes the focus from the inner and projects it outer. So that's why part of the 6 human needs as well, one of those is community, because contribution, because it takes the focus away from self and puts it to others as well, which is literally part of our spirit needs, is to do that, and to literally a need for our spirit.
A good one, when people are in that, it's usually if you think about it, in that moment, your breathing's all out of whack. So you're either tense, or you're short of breath, or your heart's racing, and it's because the nervous system is going crazy and you've got all these emotions attached to it. So one of the things you can do as a tool, it doesn't solve the challenge. It just gets you to think clearly without an emotional attachment to it. So is to breathe, is to slow the heart rate down. So you spend your time, it's like an asthmatic. They spend their time trying to slow their breathing down because everything's heightened. It's going crazy, a smoker, all that sort of stuff there. If you can just spend a bit of time breathing, just take your time and slow the heart rate down, you'll find that those things that are making you depressed, anxious, and worried are not actually as bad as you think, but the heart rate's making it feel worse, which is direct correlation to your lungs, which is your breathing. So the heart pumps, which feeds through the lungs, it's all part of it. So if you can slow the breathing down, already you'll be in a calmer state to make better decisions and not feel so bad about yourself or beat yourself up. So breathing's a good one. We're going to do a little bit of that through this challenge as well, about the different kinds of breathing techniques you can do to help in situations like that, I suppose, and exercise and stuff. So
that's good, Matty. Because also it gives us that moment to assess too, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're actually giving ourselves that breather. So and positive self-talk. See, you reminded me, man. That was meant to be at the start of my notes, and I forgot to write it down. It's ideal for this challenge as well, especially when we're confronting quite a few demons. When we're taking our photos and stuff like that. This is where the good time is to start practicing it as well. Okay.
Because not one person has enjoyed those photos. Me included. That was awful. That's awesome, Dino. Thank you guys so much. Does anyone else have any more questions or anything? Speak now or forever hold your peace. But I'm going to speak on behalf of Dino here, but I'm sure that he'll happily answer any questions and stuff if you wanted to reach out to him. And so will Maddie and I and T-Pop. So we're all here for you guys. But thank you once again for investing in you. We do call it our community Fit Body Fit Mind, because it's not just about the body, it's the whole package. So we are so grateful for you, Dino. Thank you so much for giving up your time. Thank you for sharing your wisdom with us, because that's what it is. It's pure gold and wisdom. Thank you, guys. We love you all. Bless you, and we'll see you on the flip side.
Thanks, Shaz. Been a pleasure again.
Thank you, good sir. Thanks, guys. Thank
Have
you.
a good night. Sweet
Coming
tea.
inside now, Mac.
Cat tea ready.
See you in a minute.
You're the kitchen bitch too.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. Bye.